The dining hall of the Galactic Academy was huge bright lights, long tables, and strange smells floating in the air. Aqua? Cadets from over 50 planets sat together, laughing and sharing food. Floating cubes of protein, glowing noodles, sweet mist fruits. The air buzzed with energy. Near the back of the hall, a group of new alien cadets sat at their table. Among them was Jorax, a thin, blue-scaled cadet from the planet Viren. Species had 3 eyes and a sensitive nose. He looked around with a curious but cautious expression. Suddenly, Jorax froze. His eyes locked onto one table, the human cadets. They were a small group, only 4 of them, quiet, focused, while everyone else chatted and joked. The humans were opening metal boxes, sealed tight, black with red warning labels. Jorax's skin turned pale. "They're eating that?" he whispered. "What?" asked. A fellow cadet, Jorax, stood slowly. His eyes were wide and his voice was shaky. "Don't touch human food. Don't even go near it. That stuff is dangerous." The others laughed. "It's just food, Jorax. What's the big deal?" But Jorax didn't laugh. He turned to his squad captain, an older alien named Rickle. "Captain," Jorax said seriously, "my older brother served near humans. He said ... one bite of their food can change you." He never explained more, just said, "Never eat it." Rickle smirked. "Sounds like a bedtime story." More laughter. In the background, one of the human cadetseries, a tall boy with calm eyes, pulled out a small red bag. He opened it carefully, like he was holding a bomb. Inside were small, bright red sticks, thin, dusty. They smelled hot, even from across the hall. The label read, "Spicy Inferno Sticks. Do not eat more than 1." The lights above Reese flickered for a second. Nobody noticed, except Jorax. His curiosity burned now. Warnings only made him more interested. Later that day, during lunch, Brick Jorax slowly walked over to the human table. Reese looked up. "Hey," he said calmly. Jorax nodded. "Hi, what are you eating?" Reese smiled. "Want to try?" The other humans chuckled softly but said nothing. Jorax hesitated. His brain screamed no. But his pride pushed forward. "Just one," Jorax said. Reese handed him a stick. It was warm. Too warm. Jorax took a bite. It was like swallowing fire and lightning together. His mouth burned. His eyes watered. Skin turned purple. His heart pounded fast. He couldn't breathe. He dropped to his knees. Everything around him blurred. Voices echoed, and then blackness. Jorax woke up hours later. White lights, cold metal, beeping sounds. It was in the medical bay. A medic bot hovered over him. Vitals unstable. Body temperature critical. Neural signals enhanced. "What happened?" Jorax whispered. He sat up slowly and saw his reflection in a nearby screen. His eyes. They were glowing faint red. He touched his chest. His heart was still beating fast. His muscles felt stronger. He looked at his hands. They were shaking, but not from weakness, from power. Reese stood nearby, arms crossed, calm as always. "Told you," Reese said. "Human food changes you." Jorax stared at him in silence. From that moment, nothing felt the same. And in the shadows of the academy, others had been watching. Jorax was no longer the same. Ever since he ate that one human snack, he felt something inside him, growling. At night, he couldn't sleep. His body burned. His mind raced. He was faster, stronger, but also hungrier. Not for food, but for more. And every time he walked past the humans, the craving returned. Jorax sat alone in his dorm room, breathing heavily. The lights were dim. His eyes glowed faint red in the dark, just like before. But now the glow was brighter. It had been 2 days since he tasted the human inferno stick. 2 days since he blacked out. And now nothing felt normal. His senses were sharper. He could hear footsteps from the hallway, smell the electric wires in the wall, See tiny cracks on the ceiling no one else noticed. But with the power came the hunger. His stomach growled again. Not from hunger for food, but for that feeling. It's that fiery rush, that burn, that strange, painful energy that made him feel alive. He walked to the training area. Inside, cadets were sparring. Different species showed off their combat skills. Fast claws, electric whips, gravity pulses. But Jorax didn't care. His eyes searched for Reese, the human. There he was, calm, quiet, sitting in the corner like nothing was happening. Corax marched straight to him. "I need more." "He," said Reese, looked up. "No," Jorax growled. "I need more." Reese stood slowly. "You don't know what you're asking." Jorax leaned in. "That bite changed me. It unlocked something. I can feel it." Reese stared into his eyes. "That wasn't food, Jorax. That was a test." "A test." Reese nodded. "One snack, one moment. It shows who's ready and who's not." Jorax felt confused. "Ready for what?" Reese didn't answer. He just walked away, disappearing into the hall. Later that night, Jorax couldn't take it anymore. He snuck into the human cadet's storage room. It was locked with strange earth tech, but his enhanced senses helped him. He listened to the clicks, watched for red lights. His hands moved like they knew what to do. Click, the door opened. Inside were rows of boxes, sealed metal containers, each with labels in bold red. "Caution, Earth rations, level 2 toxic, authorized for human use only." He grabbed the nearest box and opened it. Inside was a packet labeled "Hot Core Cookies, 2 million Scoville. Units do not eat unless cleared." Jorax stared at it and smiled. He ripped it open. The first bite hit like an explosion. His skin flared with heat. His muscles locked. Blood rushed to his head. He collapsed, twitching, sweating, shaking. But he didn't stop. He finished the cookie. Morning. Medical bay alarms blared. Medics rushed. Jorax was on the bed again, but this time his body glowed faintly. Not just his eyes, his veins. They pulsed with red light. His heartbeat was triple normal. And when the doctors tried to sedate him, the needle bent. The human Captain L.T. Marla Hayes walked in. She looked at the screen, then at Jorax. "Well," she said, "he took the second dose. That means he passed." One of the alien doctors frowned. "Passed what?" Hayes replied coldly. "The human threshold." Final scene, that night. Jorax woke up again. This time, no pain, just silence. And a voice. A human voice, soft and clear, inside his mind. "You're not just eating food, Jorax. You're being reprogrammed." His eyes flashed. He wasn't hungry anymore. He was ready. Jorax returned to class the next day, but something was wrong. The other cadets stared. Some stepped back. His footsteps were too heavy. His voice had changed. Couldn't feel pain anymore. And deep inside him, something had awakened. Something human. And more than human. The halls of the Galactic Academy were quiet as Jorax walked through. He moved slower than usual. Not because he was weak, but because everything around him felt too slow. His mind moved fast. His eyes caught every detail, every movement, every whisper. And when someone bumped into him by accident, crack. The metal locker behind him bent. Jorax didn't even touch it. It just happened, like his energy had pushed it without his control. Gasps echoed in the hallway. A group of small insectoid cadets backed away, their antennas twitching in fear. He turned and walked away, heart pounding. Later in combat class, Jorax was partnered with a 4-armed fighter from the planet Drakkar. The instructor gave the signal to start. The Drakkari cadet jumped forward for fists swinging fast. Jorax stood still. The crowd thought he froze. Then, in a flash, Jorax moved once. One hit. The Drakkari flew backward, landed hard, and didn't get up. Silence. The instructor stared. "Jorax, are you all right?" He opened his mouth to answer, but stopped. His voice sounded deeper, like two voices speaking at once. "I'm fine." The instructor nodded slowly. "Take the rest of the class off." That night, Jorax sat alone in his room. His reflection in the mirror didn't look normal anymore. His skin was darker, slightly glowing in parts. His eyes had red rings inside them, and when he looked at the mirror for too long, it shook, like something inside him was vibrating reality. He remembered the voice from before. "You're not just eating food, Jorax. You're being reprogrammed." He didn't know if he should feel scared or powerful. Then his room door beeped. It was Reese, the human cadet. Reese didn't smile. He looked serious. "You've gone too?" Far Jorax stood. "What's happening to me?" Reese entered and sat down. "You took a level 2 ration. That stuff's not just spicy food, it's bio-coded enhancement, meant for human bodies. Even most of us can't handle it." Jorax frowned. "Does it change us?" Reese leaned in, because Earth food was never just food. It was our secret, our weapon. The spices, the fermentation, the heat, it evolved with us. Now it upgrades whoever survives it. Jorax whispered. "So I'm upgraded." Reese shook his head. "You're just starting. Level 3 is next. But once you taste that..." He didn't finish the sentence. Jorax's chest tightened. "I need answers." Reese stood up. "Then follow me. Tomorrow, after lights out, don't tell anyone." And just like that, he was gone. Next day, medical wing unknown to Jorax. The Academy's science team was reviewing footage. They watched the combat match on screen. They slowed it down to frame by frame. One scientist gasped. He moved faster than the sensor could record. Another whispered, "That's not natural. That's Earth level." They all looked at each other. The captain entered. "Prepare the lab. And double lock the kitchen. If another cadet touches that food..." She didn't finish either. Final scene, midnight. Jorax stood at the back of the academy near the human cargo bay. Reese waited for him. So did 3 other humans. They opened a steel hatch. Inside was a staircase. Going down. Reese looked. At him, what you'll see next. No alien has ever seen. "You can still turn back?" Jorax clenched his fists. "I'm ready." They stepped into the dark. Below, something growled. But it wasn't a creature. It was an oven. Beneath the Galactic Academy, where no alien had ever gone. The humans kept something hidden. Not weapons, not armor. But a kitchen. One so dangerous. It was locked with 3 codes, 2 DNA scans, and a temperature warning. Jorax had already taken a bite of human food. Now he was about to see where it came from. The stairs creaked as Jorax followed Reese and the other humans deep underground. The air grew hot, spicy, electric. It smelled like danger. At the bottom, they reached a giant steel door. A red sign flashed. Level 3 access only warning. Non-humans enter at own risk. Reese looked at Jorax. "Still want to go in?" Jorax nodded once. Reese entered his code, pressed his hand against a scanner, then took out a small vial. He poured a drop onto a scanner. The door opened slowly. Steam rushed out, and behind it was the human kitchen. The room was massive. Rows of glowing stoves. Hanging shelves with strange spices and liquids. Pressure cookers that hissed like beasts. Blenders that sounded like engines. One wall had a warning sign. Scoville Level 8. Handle with extreme caution. Another read. Fermented projects do not open without human supervision. ICS stepped inside slowly. His skin tingled. His breath grew fast. It was like the air itself was spiced. Reese pointed to a glowing red container. "That's where Level 3 rations are made. Not food, not chemicals. Something in between." Jorax stared. "What do they do to you?" One of the other humans spoke. A woman named Lynn. "They unlock instincts, old ones from Earth's hardest times. They awaken, fight, memory, pain resistance. Some cadets call it a flavor boost. We call it the core heat. Reese added, once you taste level 3, there's no going back. You'll never eat alien food again. And the Academy will start watching you. Suddenly, alarms beeped. A red light flashed on the wall. Unauthorized entry detected, lower level species ID. Non-human present. Reese cursed. Day. No, you're down here. Jorax stepped back. Should I run? No, Reese said. You came this far. You need to know the truth. He walked over to a sealed fridge. It hissed as it opened. Inside, wrapped in gold foil, was a glowing orange cube. This is level 3, Reese said. Made with ingredients no other species can name. If you eat this, your body will change faster, stronger. But it might break your mind. Jorax hesitated. But something inside him, something burning from that first bite, whispered, do it. He reached out, and took the cube. The room went quiet. He bit. For one moment, nothing. Then his eyes widened. His breath turned to steam. The lights flickered, machines behind him melted slightly. The humans stepped back, eyes wide. Reese whispered, he's surviving it. Elsewhere, security room Academy guards were watching the feed. One shouted, he's in the kitchen, eating a level 3. The captain stared at the screen. He's not just surviving. Adapting. Another officer said, should we arrest him? The captain shook her head. No, watch him. If he lives, we'll need to reconsider everything we know about humans and what happens when others eat their food. Final scene, Jorax collapsed to one knee. His body glowed faint orange now. His heartbeat echoed in the room. He looked up at Reese. What's next? Reese smiled. Now, you train. And you eat. Jorax stood, stronger, taller, changed. A voice echoed in his head. Now not human, not alien. Something in between. Something. Jorax survived the level 3 cube. But the real test had just begun. Now the Academy watches him. Strange things happen when he sleeps. His strength grows. His mind changes. But the food is calling again. Okay? And he's not the only alien who wants. More Jorax stood in front of the mirror in his dorm room. His skin looked darker now, like sunburnt metal. His eyes had a faint orange glow. But the strangest part was inside, he could hear things. He could feel the heartbeats of those walking by his room. He could smell emotions, fear, anger, hunger. He wasn't just stronger, he was changing. It all began the moment he ate the human food. The next day, Jorax entered the Galactic Academy training hall. Dozens of cadets trained with weapons, drones, and battle suits. Normally, he stayed quiet in the back, but not today. Today, he felt ready. An instructor, a 7-foot insectoid named Verana, called for sparring pairs. Reese, the human cadet, raised a brow. You joining this time? Jorax nodded. Verana laughed. You couldn't beat a training droid last week. Didn't. Answer? He stepped onto the mat. His opponent was a large, muscular warrior from the Zorik species. 2 arms, 2 legs, tail, and sharp claws. The fight began. The Zorik charged forward, but Jorax moved faster. 1 dodge, 1 strike. A loud crack. The Zorik flew back and hit the wall. Silence filled the room. Even the instructor froze. Reese just whispered, he's leveling up. That night, Jorax couldn't sleep. His body burned. Stomach growled. But not for food. It growled for heat. For spice. For human flavor. He slipped out of his bed and walked the halls, feet silent. He passed alien cadets, some asleep, some talking, but none noticed him. He wasn't going to the mess hall. He was going back to the human kitchen. He reached the locked entrance. Red lights blinked. A panel scanned his face. Access. Denied, non-human entry blocked. He growled. Then the door blinked once. Access granted, special override. It opened. He didn't know how, but the kitchen recognized him now. Inside, he found Lynn. She was checking spice levels and pressure cookers. She turned, surprised. Back already? Jorax nodded. I need more. Lynn didn't smile. Her voice turned serious. You can't keep eating level 3. Your body isn't built for it. The changes might go too far. I'm not afraid, Jorax said. I feel better, stronger. I can hear heartbeats. She stepped closer. Can you hear your own? Shh. Paused. No, he couldn't. Suddenly, the alarm rang again. It's time. 3 alien cadets ran in, 2 from the Crocs Empire, 1 from a water-world species. They looked at Jorax. One of them said, he's eaten it. He's alive. It works. They pushed past Lynn. One of them grabbed a glowing red snack and bit it. Lynn shouted, no. That's not how it works, but it was too late. The cadet collapsed, shaking violently. The skin began to blister. The other 2 backed away in fear. Lynn rushed to the console. I told the commanders this would happen. Not everyone can survive it. Elsewhere, security control room. Commanders of the academy watched everything. Captain Varnon, a wise, lizard-like elder, stared at the screen. He's spreading it, she said. The human food is becoming contagious. An officer asked, what do we do? Varnon paused. We can't stop him now. But we can guide him or destroy him, the officer whispered. The captain didn't answer. Final scene, Jorax sat in the kitchen, breathing heavily. Lynn sat across from him. You're becoming something else, she said. Something. New Jorax looked at his hands. Sparks danced between his fingers. I don't feel alien anymore. She nodded. You're not. She stood and handed him a container. This is the last level 3 we have. Use it wisely. The next level, no one has survived yet. Jorax held the box. And deep inside, something whispered, eat, evolve, begin again. The academy is on alert. Cadets whisper about the alien who ate human food and lived. Security watches him, commanders fear him, and Jorax. He holds the last level 3 container in his hands. But now there's a new dish, something never served before, something humans feared to even name. Level 4, only one person dares to. Try, and the galaxy will never forget what happens next. Jorax sat alone on the rooftop of the Galactic Academy. Stars blinked above. Silence wrapped around him like a cold blanket. In his hands, he held the last container. Level 3, the spicy red cubes that changed him, that gave him power, that burned through his blood. But now he didn't want it. Not because he feared it, because something stronger was calling. Next morning, Lynn found him standing outside the sealed human vault. This place wasn't a kitchen. It was a lab, a place where food was tested, created, hidden. Lynn gasped. How do you know about this place? Jorax's glowing eyes met. Hers, it called me. She hesitated, then opened the vault. Inside were dozens of sealed cases, metal, cold, locked with biocodes. One of them pulsed faint red. Lynn whispered, Level 4. We never released it. Too dangerous, even for humans. Jorax stepped closer. Let me try. In the command. Tower Captain Varnon watched the screens. An officer said, he's going in. Another muttered, if he eats that, we don't know what he'll become. Varnon stared. No, but we'll all find out soon. Inside the vault, Lynn handed Jorax the small black cube. No heat, no smell, just silence. This isn't spice, she warned. It's something else. Something made for war. Jorax nodded. Maybe war is coming? He bit into the cube. At first, nothing happened. Then the lights shattered. Every screen across the academy blinked. Alarms screamed. The floor cracked under his feet. Jorax fell to his knees, clutching his chest. A deep, ancient voice echoed in his mind. You are the first. You are the bridge. You are no longer one of them. His bones cracked, but didn't break. His blood glowed through his skin. Cadets rushed to the windows. Ships above the academy stopped in orbit. Something was happening. Something big. Jorax rose slowly. His eyes no longer glowed orange. They burned like stars. His voice was calm. Now, but powerful. I see the universe. I hear every signal. I feel time shifting. Lynn stared in awe. You're not just stronger. You're connected to everything. Jorax nodded. And it's not just me. In the alien barracks, cadets who had tasted level 1 or 2 began shaking. Some screamed, some whispered, some started glowing. But the change was spreading. Reese, the human cadet, stood watching from the shadows. He pulled out a hidden communicator. Earth. This is Unit 9. He ate it. And he survived level 4. A voice replied cold and clear. Initiate Protocol Omega. Begin the awakening. In deep space, a hidden human fleet powered up for the first time in decades. Massive ships, silent, covered in dark metal. Officer whispered, "They're ready." A commander nodded. "Good, that means it's time." "Time for what, sir?" The commander stared at the stars. "For them to remember why Earth left." Back at the academy, Jorax stood at the center of the courtyard. All cadets, alien and human, gathered around. The air around him shimmered. "I'm not just an alien anymore," he said. "I'm something new, something Earth made." Captain Varnon arrived in person. "What do you want?" Jorax looked at her and smiled. "I want to show the galaxy what happens when you laugh at human food." Then he raised his hand, and the sky above them cracked with light. Final scene in the distance. Stars move. A message spreads across every system. The taste was only the beginning. A new war is coming, and it smells like Earth.